Hey everybody, it's Meta Warrior here. That's my other name online. So I'm doing another T-shirt of the week video today, and this one is a little early because I decided that I wanted to get as many of these videos done as possible because I prefer that trying to get more content made on this channel and on my blog, which is Meta Warrior's Metal Madness. You should go visit it right now. Uh, So I'm going to tell another story about another T-shirt that I've owned in the past, and hopefully it'll be interesting. So this is the shirt, if you can see it, Metallica, and this is actually the original shirt, believe it or not. You can see like a lot of holes in it and shit. And this is from probably around 89, 90. I believe I purchased it in 1989 or 9. Oh no, it can't even be 89. It was probably 90. So by then, if you're watching my previous video, I was pretty full-fledged into metal, and I know for a fact that my brother was involved with Metallica as well, not with the band itself, but with lending me another shirt, and the shirt was the Damaged Justice T-shirt that I no longer have. But I don't remember if I actually owned that. It's so confusing because sometimes my brother would lend me a shirt, and for some reason I never gave it back to him, or he never asked for it, or I can't even remember. I was a kid. But in particular, this Metallica 1 shirt, that was one where I did buy it with my own money. So it had to be later than 89. I don't think I had a job, but I had an allowance or something. It might have been 90 or 91. Probably 90. And the story with that shirt, well, there's a few stories. So how did I get into Metallica? Well, I'm not as into Metallica now for various reasons. Of course, a lot of people are not into Metallica now. But the thing with that particular moment in time when I got into Metallica was I did not like them. I thought I got into Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, I believe, at the time, and maybe Guns N' Roses. Maybe no, I don't think Guns N' Roses. And I don't even think Judas Priest. I think Iron Maiden, maybe Guns N' Roses, and me. Shit. It was probably just Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, and then Metallica was third because I borrowed the Justice for All tape from my brother again, mentioning him, and I didn't know what to think. It was it was so much. It was just so intense and so loud. I clearly it was a little monochromatic at the time. I remember getting into it, and I don't know if I just forced myself to get into it or something. Sometimes I worry about that, right? And I still worry about that to this day. Well, do I really like it, or did I kind of just like try to listen to it a bunch of times and try to find what's good about it? Sometimes I do that with bands, but I don't think that's really what I do. I think it's more like I try to find something I like, and if I can catch on to it, that's great. But if I can't, then it never happens for me with certain bands. So that's what happens. I don't know. I overthink things all the time, obviously. So with Metallica, Justice for All was the first one I got. I think the second one was Kill 'Em All. And guess what? Those are my two favorite Metallica albums to this day. Kill 'Em All I really was into, though. That was really a moment. So I really got into that. I think it's kick ass. And Justice for All I do like a lot. I think it's their most underrated album, even if Jason Newsted isn't much on it, or if at all. Some people believe, depending on who you ask or how much bass was really done on it. I don't know. So anyways, I got that Metallica shirt. And by then, it was a weird period because a lot of people that were into Metallica, to be quite honest, were bullies, or a few of them. I remember with some of the kids, and later on in in later in elementary or middle school or whatever, they turned into rap instead of they were into rap instead of metal, and metal became less of a common thing for an outcast to listen, or it became more of like a, I guess, more of a middle class rather than working class thing to listen to in a certain way by then. And that's why Beavis and Butthead live in suburbia and not, they're not necessarily working class, or I don't know. But anyways, that's how that happened. And I was a little insecure about these bullies that were into Metallica. I was like, oh God, why do they like the music that I like? Fuck them. So I got a Metallica shirt. By that time, things were changing, and I wasn't feeling as bad about wearing a Metallica shirt because of the bullies liking them. Because I already had a Metallica shirt, of course, that I borrowed from my brother, the Damage Justice one. It's probably be worth money, and that one is a pile of shit because it's so torn up. But it probably someone would pay a big sum on eBay because it is vintage, even if it's faded part of it. So by then I got into Metallica, and another story about that shirt is that one of my best friends in high school also had the same shirt, and I don't know if I wore it at the same time as he did or one time, and then they started a conversation. Unfortunately, I was kind of an asshole to him at first. It's one of those people, when you're in high school and you're like a really fucked up, rejected dude, you might pick on other people that you think are like you and then become their friend. And that's happened a few times in my life. But I feel like I did some bad shit, but we became friends, and lo and behold, he had the same shirt. So any kind of false ego thing that I had with him back then was pretty ridiculous because he far surpassed me in many areas of life. So he got his well-deserved revenge if I picked on him for. I think I only picked on him a couple times, and we became friends, and we were even did a lot together later on and stuff. So that's the story of that shirt, the Metallica 1 shirt. Metallica, the Song 1 was the first song I really got into them because that's the first video they had. And that was where I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And it probably took about a month to get into Metallica because I'd started listening to Justice for All because my brother liked it. I was like, oh, I want to check this out. And I liked a lot of it. One of the first things, actually, just a side note, is that I noticed is that when I first listened to Metallica, I was surprised at how little vocals they had because those songs were so long on Justice, and I was like, "Where's the vocals?" And that was one of the moments. But I did get into it pretty quickly, not as fast as Iron Maiden, not as fast as Judas Priest. I don't mean speed. I mean as fast as getting into them. But I eventually got into Metallica, and the 4th tape that I bought was Megadeth's Peace Sells. Now, I was just like, I don't know if I liked that better. Like, my first tape was Iron Maiden's Live After Death. My second tape was, I got a bunch of dubbed tapes from my brother and his friend. And then I got second tape that I bought. I don't think I bought Justice, but I bought Kill 'Em All. And I remember Kill 'Em All smelled like cologne for some reason. If you open the thing, some guy like fucking had cologne on when he was like opening the tape when he originally bought it or something. And then the third one was probably Peace Sells or Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. I am not completely sure. But those are like the first 4 albums I owned in metal anyways. So that's it for this story. I'm going to tell another story next week. I know this is a quick one that I did quickly after the other one, so it's not really weekly t-shirt, but the whole point of this series is I'm trying to do, I want to do some cool historical videos about my life and stuff. It's kind of autobiographical. And I have so many t-shirts, I have so many stories to tell that not all of them, that's the oldest one I own, this one. I'm going to show it one more time. This is the oldest shirt I own. And it doesn't look so bad, if you can see it. It looks pretty intact. The back is a different story because it has that big hole and has a few holes. But for something that's like 27 years old, it is pretty good. I mean, I've seen better shirts, of course. And Metallica remains, they were the first band to like really make me want to play really heavy. You know, when I started playing guitar, I was like, I didn't know how to palm mute at first, so I just did like artificial harmonic at the first fret because that's what my brother did. I thought, dat, 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 dat. It was pretty terrible, but that's the one that we did back then. That's how we played palm muted guitars. So it's just a little story about the Metallica thing with that. But that was a pretty cool moment getting into Metallica. Not as into stuff that they later did, but I still like them. I will admit it that I still like them, even though back in the day, you know, like 15 years ago, I probably would have said fuck Metallica, you know. Even though I've listened to every album except for Reload and Load, I didn't really buy those when those came out, but I bought everything else pretty much when it came out. I think Death Magnetic I never bought. I downloaded the remix that people did with the Guitar Hero files because the clipping was terrible in an album. But anyways, I'm blabbing. The next video for the t-shirt of the week, which is next week, is going to be the Misfits because that was it's not the original shirt, but it is pretty much the same shirt I had. So that's going to be a story about teenage bullying, and I'll probably add some sex and violence. So there'll be a little bit of teenage crushes involved with that, teenage bullying, being accused of being a porn director. I'm just throwing this all out there because I'm just gonna tease. There's a teaser for the next video. So this is Metal Warriors Metal Madness, and I'm going to be doing videos for this for a while in the future, and probably just posting it to the same channel. So hope you enjoy.